everyone, welcome back to the Trading Without Borders podcast. This is Omobi and this is episode 12. So last week I stated that we're going to be using various African languages in this podcast. So today I will be saying Umbote, that is hello to you all in Congolese language Lingala. However, to celebrate AFCON 2021 champions Senegal, we will be saying to you all Nangadef, that's how are you in Senegalese language Wolof. So the rest of the language, any other language I'm going to use today is so it's just going to be Wolof that I will use for the rest of today's episode. So for today's episode, we're going to be looking at the AfCFTA Adjustment Fund. So on Wednesday, 9th of February 2022, that was yesterday for me, the president and the chairman of the board of directors of AfCFTA, that's Professor Benedict Orama, and His Excellency Wamkele Mene, that's the Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, signed an agreement relating to the management of the base fund of the AfCFTA Adjustment Fund. So you're wondering what's this fund all about? The fund is the adjustment fund basically to support member countries to adjust to the new liberalized and integrated trading environment under the AfCFTA. Of course, being a new, there are going to be changes that we will occur to, and the countries will need support in making some adjustment. So, so how did this come about? The African Union Summit of Heads of States and Government and the Council of Ministers responsible for trade had mandated the AfCFTA and the AfCFTA Secretariat to establish the AfCFTA Adjustment Fund to support member countries to adjust to the new and liberalized integrated trading environment. So the agreement was signed. So the fund consists of the base fund, that's the adjustment fund, consists of the base funds, the general fund, and the credit fund. So the agreement signed by Professor Rama and his H.E. Wamkele Mene was related to the base fund. So basically the base fund is basically contributions from member countries, grants and technical assistance to enable member countries to mitigate revenue losses that will accrue from reduction or elimination of tariffs. In previous episodes, I talked about various the objectives of the AfCFTA, and of course, some of them in achieving the objectives, then there will be tariffs would have to be reduced in some cases, or in some cases it's going to be eliminated completely. So that is what the base fund has come to support. In doing this, there will be losses to member countries. So that's what the funds, the base fund will be addressing, and also to help member countries in implementing provisions of the AfCFTA. The other one is the general fund, basically to mobilize concession funding, and the credit fund, that's the final one. It's commercial funding for the public and the private sector. It's going to enable them to adjust and to take advantages of AfCFTA. Of course, the private sector will be able to build capacity. It's been stated that to enable the private sector to build capacity to produce value-added goods and of course services, and to trade competitively under the AfCFTA. So the agreement was signed, as I stated, and yes, it's the fund is going to require resources about $10 billion within the next 5 to 10 years, and of course, AfCFTA has already committed $1 billion to the funding. So, as I stated earlier, the agreement signed on Wednesday is related to the management of the base fund, and according to Professor Rama, the general fund and the credit fund will be launched soon as well. And just like H.E. Wamkele Mene has also said, this base fund will help countries mitigate short-term revenue losses from, of course, tariff elimination or reduction. So this is where we say we're going to end for today's podcast. This is the end of today's episode. So I'm going to be saying Jere Jeff. That's thank you in Wolof language. That's thank you to you all for listening. And as I usually say, the podcast is basically for educational purposes. It's not to be taken as an expert advice. If you need expert advice, please reach out to me. So until next week, Thursday, I'll be saying mangi dem. That's goodbye to you all. Thank you.